Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Cruise News. And in today's episode, another person has gone overboard, this time on a princess ship. And some Royal Caribbean guests are mad at some changes that were made to a cruise because of the Hawaii fires. Both of those stories are going to be in today's episode of Cruise News. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Cruise News. If you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that like and subscribe button. I post cruise news videos every other day, followed by theme park news in the opposite days, on top of vlogging all of our adventures. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's news stories. All right, our first news story comes from the world of Royal Caribbean. Obviously, if you've seen any news recently within the past few days, you've seen the devastating fires that have been going on in Lahaina in Hawaii, and it just kind of ravaged that area completely. Obviously, this is cruising, big cruising time for people going to Hawaii, so it has impacted some of the ships. And apparently there was some guests that were not too happy with Royal Caribbean after some of the changes they made. This is specifically to the Ovation of the Seas, a trip that is scheduled to depart not until October 6th. Is when this particular cruise is set to depart. It is a 9-night cruise. It leaves from Vancouver. Apparently the ship, after it does its last Alaska trip, it will come to Vancouver, and then it will begin, since there's no more Alaska sailings for the rest of the year, it will begin new itineraries. This one was going from Vancouver to Honolulu, Hawaii. That still will take place. It is still leaving from Vancouver. It will still dock in Honolulu. However, there were some changes that had to be made. It was supposed to visit Lahaina specifically for an overnight stay. So it was supposed to get there October 12th, stay overnight until October 13th. Obviously, that now is not going to happen, even though this isn't going to occur till October. Obviously, that area is devastated. You're not going to be able to, dock there. Plus, they've got other things going on, quite frankly, than to accept cruise people. Apparently that was the only port that was scheduled before all this happened, before the ship actually docks at the very end in Honolulu. So what happened was Royal Caribbean notified people that are going to be on that ship that there were some changes made. The changes were they were now going to visit Victoria in British Columbia was going to be a stop, and they were also adding Seattle, Washington as a port stop. I also added a day of what they called scenic cruising along the Napoli coast in Hawaii. At this point, I guess Royal Caribbean didn't offer any refunds or cancellations. Well, that didn't sit well, I guess, with people that had bookings on that. There was a big old uproar. So now Royal is saying that they will, in fact, issue refunds or help you rebook to another cruise. I mean, quite frankly, let's be honest, it's nice to go on a cruise. It sucks if you have a cruise planned and your itinerary changes, but I mean, 100 people are dead in Hawaii, at least, as of me recording this. An entire area has been devastated. In the realm of the world, I think there are things way more important than you not getting to go to a port, and instead you have to visit the horrible place of Seattle. That's just, I understand people may want to change or whatever, but this is just the nature of cruising, in my opinion. You should just kind of shut up and deal with it. I'm sorry. I know that may be an unpopular opinion, but this area was devastated, and they obviously have to make changes, and people want to complain about those changes. How about realizing that some people lost everything, including their lives, to this, before you start complaining about your cruise and how you don't get to go to a certain place, or you want to change it because Seattle wasn't, I guess, on your bucket list of places you wanted to go. I don't know, rant over. That's just, I don't know. It just seemed weird and just completely out of place that people are going to complain about something like that. This is any cruise. It isn't just Royal. Once you get to a certain points, you can't cancel the cruise unless you end up, coughing up a whole bunch of money. And I think at this point it's like 75%. Things happen. You don't get to go to ports. I live in Florida. There's plenty of times where hurricanes are coming. You don't get to go to that port anymore. Now, obviously people wanted to go to Hawaii. That was the point, but they still get to go to Hawaii. You just literally don't get to go to one port in Lahaina. That's it. So one port you don't get to go to. You still get to go to Honolulu and do whatever it is you were going to do in Hawaii. But I think at the end of the day, people just should realize that, hey, there are more important things in life than your cruise, including people's lives and the devastation they have to deal with down there. But if you happen to be on that cruise, then I guess the uproar helped. So you can now either cancel that cruise or switch it to something else. So yeah. If that's something you want to do, it is now available from Royal Caribbean to switch up your cruise, so that you can no longer go to Lahaina, at least for the time being. All right, and in other news, and in this, I don't know, maybe it's just me. It just seems like these stories are way more frequent this year than past. I don't know, maybe it's just me now that I'm actually recording videos on it, but it just seems like more. Another person has gone overboard on a ship. This time it has happened on Princess's, the Emerald Princess. A man has gone overboard. He was identified. 59-year-old Kenneth Schwalbe, I believe I pronounced that right. Kenneth Schwalbe of California, 59 years old, has gone overboard on the Emerald Princess. This actually happened on Friday. Well, technically it happened Thursday to Friday, but he was reported missing on Friday, which was the 11th of August. As the ship, it was approaching Hilo, Hawaii, so another Hawaii cruise. It was approaching Hilo, and it was reported that the man had gone missing. Apparently, the last time he had been seen was at 8:30 p.m. the night before, and then early Friday morning he was reported missing. Obviously, they've sent out, search and rescue to go look for him. I believe he was close enough, or they were close enough to Hawaii, because they said the police were notified in Hawaii about the missing person. So I guess they thought maybe he's close enough that he could have actually made it. I'm not 100% sure on that. But apparently he had, somebody had reported him missing. They did go and check the video. They did see on video camera that he did in fact fall. I want to say it was from deck 9 into the water. So a pretty good distance. But as of this, recording this, which is Sunday, he still has not been found. When you're going into 2 days, I guess if he's close enough, you kind of hope maybe the local fishermen or something may see him or something like that. But when you get into 2 days, unfortunately, it gets less and less likely that he will be found. But you can always hope. So yeah, that's, like I said, 59-year-old Kenneth Schwalbe, gone overboard from the Emerald Princess near Hawaii. All right, guys, that is going to do it for another episode of Cruise News. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's news stories. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.